Alright guys, in today's video we're working on a GE Profile front load washer. This is a WPDH8 series washer. We recently replaced the control board in this unit. If you want to see that, I'll link a video up in the upper right for that. But when we replaced the control board, it doesn't reflect the EEPROM update that was applied to this unit. This unit had the recall that was applicable to these done. You can tell if you have the recall because you usually have a green sticker put there by the GE technician indicating that the firmware was updated for the recall. I'll put information on that recall in the video description, but since these boards aren't made by GE anymore, you can't get GE to come out. If they did, they would have done it during the repair. We did it ourselves, so we don't have that option, but we still want to get that update applied. To update the firmware, you're going to need an appliance communication module kit. It's a service kit for this particular series, WPDH8 It's the WH49X10099X. And what you get in this kit is four things. There's an instruction sheet. There's a little dongle here to sit on the serial port where the communications cable between the washer and dryer typically sit. And it's got an RJ45 jack on it, and then you get what's basically an Ethernet type cable, RJ45 on both ends. And the way this works is there's this little box here, this module, this is the appliance communications module. And what this is going to do is like a little computer. It's going to boot up and it's going to update the firmware. It's all self-contained, plug and play. This little guy has got a magnet for feet, so it's not going to move around. And the only thing you need to watch for is this little LED. This LED is the only form of communication that we're going to have with this. So to do this procedure, we need to have the washer plugged in, but it needs to be powered down. And then with it powered down, we're going to unplug it. So we're going to go over here on the side and we're going to pull the power cord out of the wall outlet, and we're just going to find a place to hang it back here. Then we're going to have to go to the serial port on the back of the washer. It's in the far side right over here. You guys aren't going to be able to really see it very well, but there's a cable right here that plugs into this DB9 connector, and we're just going to undo these thumb screws so we can remove this cable. So this is a male cable, and so when we take this adapter, we're going to want to use the male end. So we just keep this guy up here so he doesn't fall backwards. We're going to take this and plug this into the serial port in place of that cable that connects to the dryer normally. And we're going to bring this forward, and we're going to connect one end of this communications cable there, and we're going to connect the other end into the module. Make sure it clicks. So if we take a look at the instructions at this point for this EEPROM update tool, we've done these steps over here where we've ensured that the washer display is dark. We've unplugged the power cord, we've connected the Y adapter, and we've tightened the thumb screws. Then it's telling you to plug the power back in. The serial port on these washers supplies 12 volts and ground specifically to power up this little guy. When we plug it back in, we don't touch the control panel at all. We just plug it in, and this will start blinking to communicate to you. It starts off slow for about 20 to 30 seconds that it's booting up, and then when it starts doing the firmware update on the washer, it'll start flashing more rapidly. After 12 to 20 minutes, it'll finish and the LED will be solid. Hopefully that's how this goes. Any other outcome means there was some type of error. So let's go ahead and plug the washer back in. And what I'm going to have you guys do is watch the module. So we see that the light comes on. It's flashing slowly, so we're in the module boot up phase. And now we're waiting for it to go to the rapid flash, telling us that it has successfully communicated with the washer and is performing the firmware update. There it goes. All right, so now it's doing the firmware update. It should take at least 12 minutes, possibly 20 minutes. It is currently 11:45 on my watch here, so we'll come back in 10 minutes and we'll see how it's doing. All right, we're back at 11:55 here, so we're 10 minutes in. It's still rapidly flashing away, so we have anywhere from another 2 to 8 minutes to go. I'll bring you guys back when we get to the solid flashing stage. All right, guys, we're coming up on 12 minutes here right now, mark. So it's still going, so it's going to go a little bit past the 12 minutes, it appears. Again, we're still waiting for this to go from this rapid flashing stage to just a solid green LED, and that's how we know that it was done. My understanding is what this ACM will do is after it downloads the new firmware image to the EEPROM, oh, hey, great, we caught it. I was going to say after it downloads the EEPROM image, it's going to verify it. So it is just a hair over 12 minutes. In my case, it was 12 minutes and 35 seconds. So now with it in a solid state, what we're going to do is unplug the washer from the AC outlet again. So we're just going to not touch anything. We're just going to come over here with that solid, and we're going to pull the plug. And then we're going to undo these two thumb screws and pull this gray serial port adapter back off of the washer. And we're going to replace the serial cable to the dryer, just like we found it, and retighten the thumb screws for the serial cable. All right, and with that back in place, now we're going to plug the washer back in again. And then we're going to come over here to the front. So what the instructions say is when the LED solid unplug the power cord, which we did, disconnected the adapter and the ACM, reconnect the communications cable, plug the power cord back in, and now they want us to go into the service test mode of the washer. So in this particular model, with it shut off, we're going to do extra rinse, delay start, extra rinse, delay start. Now we're in the service menu. And the next thing they want us to go do is check the firmware version. So we're going to go down, hit enter. All right, and so we're seeing for the UI, we've got this version, and for the machine control, we've got this version. So what they're telling you here is you can ignore everything about this except for what comes after the double E's. And for the UI, the example has 7230. They're saying any of these are good. So we've got 7317, which is the most up to date. That's great. And then for the machine control, they're saying that any of these are okay. And we've got 6222. It's not the latest, but it's still okay. So as far as this process is concerned, we're good. So now what we're going to do, they want us to run this EEPROM test. So we're going to hit the power button one time, and we're going to wait for this to go back, and then we're going to scroll down and find the EEPROM test, and we're going to initiate it. So now the EEPROM test. So now we're testing the chip that we just updated. This is not a very long test. It's just a few seconds. All right, so that was okay. And so now they're telling us to hit the start pause button to check also the PB memory. So we hit the start pause button. PB memory is okay. Press the power twice to exit service mode. Once, twice. Okay, so it's back off. Let's see. So we completed all of this. Make sure the control powers up. Normally they mean the control board. So we just hit the power button. It powers up just fine. Great. So normally, if you were the GE technician, you would have stuck that green dot down there. So what we've done is we've put our control board repair back to the level of firmware that reflects the recall that was done on these models back in 2012. The only other thing I'm going to show you in case you get one of these, and I'll put a link in the description to this kit. These aren't made anymore, but you can find them on eBay. If something went wrong here, the ACM has a flash code to tell you what went wrong. And the back of the instructions, in case yours don't have it, these are the flash codes. So it's got, these types of errors, up to 9 different issues, and what it means. A lot of these are communications type problems, and you just need to retry the procedure. The first 3 could be user error, communications error, so check all the cable connections that I went through. The second one could mean that it's not applicable. Either you already have the right level firmware, or you're trying to use this on the wrong model washing machine. And then also, this is a user error type thing. You tried to run this without following the steps that I showed you. Anyway, I hope this helps you with how you, if you're interested in doing it, how you can get the EEPROM on the control board replacement updated to reflect the recall. If you got questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below and I'll try to help. If this did help you do it yourself, since these parts aren't made anymore, GE's not going to come out and do it for you. I'd appreciate you taking the time to pay it forward by hitting that like button. And as always, thanks for watching.